Let Bishop David G. Evans steer you toward some of the most meaningful, life-altering times with our Creator in Conversations.
God says, I want to have a conversation with you. Why? Right now, my thoughts are higher than yours. My ways are a little different than yours.
Man himself is the fruit of a conversation. God talking to Jesus, Jesus talking to the Holy Ghost talking back to God. They're having a conversation concerning you.
But if you start talking to me, you'll get to understand my ways and my thoughts. So God wants this conversation so we can ultimately become all He's created us to be.
I know the thoughts I have concerning you. And I just want to have a conversation with you so you can hear what I'm thinking about you.
Cultivate the most important relationship you'll ever have. Order Conversations today. When you write to us, visit our website or call 1-800-591-8480.
Adversaries come in many forms, but you will be victorious when you realize that worship is warfare.
Adversaries are necessary because without them, you never really discover your purpose.
We've accepted what somebody told us we were in our past. So our past is sabotaging our ability to hear instruction.
We are not much unlike a battery. The negative is the thing that's needed to produce the power.
I empowered you to overcome everything you've overcome up to this present moment. I fixed you for what's going to happen after this. You were in the mind of God long before you were ever born.
You are not alone in your battle. God has your back because worship is warfare. Put these 4 messages in your arsenal today on CD or DVD. Equip yourself by visiting our website or by calling 1-800-591-8480.
What if you could make one decision to unleash everything great in your life? Would you do it? Would you say yes? Are you tired of your relationships, your health, and so much more suffering because you lack the truth you need to change? The life you desire is within your reach. You can achieve all the success, happiness, and prosperity you deserve by simply learning the secrets that lead to real personal transformation. Change is hard, but not impossible. You just have to make one radical decision to get real. And there's no better authority on the real steps to change than David G. Evans.
Some men trust in chariots. Some men trust in horses. But we will trust in the Lord.
David G. Evans is leading the charge to bring you the power to change your life. He is committed to the mission of helping you transform and become a person of power, and it starts with his all-new system to change your situation. At the centerpiece of this life-altering collection is David Evans' groundbreaking training course. From ridiculous to radical to real, this means war. In this series, you will discover the steps to change. This series includes 2 powerful messages, each on winning the battle in your mind and cultivating a language of faith. That's 4 messages, 4 power-filled hours of material. If you want a better marriage, this series has the answers. If you want to achieve financial independence God's way, the secrets in this series will empower you to make it happen. If you want a life of power, anointing, and influence, this series will show you how to get it, and there's more. You're looking for serious, immediate results. So Bishop Evans will also include one of his best-selling messages called Weapon of Warfare. This classic teaching will build you up to start fighting in the spirit for what you deserve. This powerhouse collection, from ridiculous to radical to real, and Weapon of Warfare, will give you all the biblical strategies you need to change anything in your life. This collection will ship to you immediately with your gift today to David G. Evans Ministries. This ministry is revolutionizing the kingdom by empowering believers. Souls are being saved daily, and we need your help to grow this impact in a real way. Call now and sow your seed of just $35 for your transformation to help people around the world. Your $35 love gift goes straight to the front lines of ministry, providing help to those that need it most. Call now. Make the decision to get the power you need to change your life forever.
Good morning, everybody. How are you all doing? Oh, no wonder why. Hope you guys are doing well. I'm like, what's wrong with these headphones? All right. We hope you're doing well today. It's early in the morning. We're still a little loopy. We hope you're having a great day. If you're on Facebook, Periscope, if you're on YouTube, do us a favor, hit that share button and let people know that we are on today. Oh, we're on Bethany, streaming on Bethany's page as well as on Bishop David G. Evans' page. So you want to make sure whatever platform you're on, hit that share button. Let people know that we're on today. Again, our phone number is 866-743-8267, 866-743-8267. You want to give us a call as we talk about a whole bunch of topics, politics, current events, spiritual things. We want you to chime in. We're on social media. As soon as I get my internet up, check in what your comments are. Give us a call again, 866-743-8267. You want to make sure that you join us. This coming Wednesday, we are taking Bible study on the road. We're going to be in Atlantic City. The service there, I believe, begins at 7:30. Do you remember? Anybody remember the name of the church we're going to on Wednesday? Okay. It's going to be Pastor John Howard. That's what it is. Okay. Got it. Yep. Thank you. Yeah.
New Hope.
New Hope Baptist Church in Atlantic City. Bishop will be preaching there. Service begins at 7:30. You want to make sure that you come on out. It's going to be an awesome time in the Lord. Again, Bible study on the road this week as we join the great revival that's going on down in Atlantic City at New Hope. Pastor John Howard is the pastor there. Bishop, of course, will be preaching this Wednesday. Of course, we're getting ready for our back to school drive, our Thanksgiving drive. You can go to our website. You can donate there. $35 feeds a family. We're ramping up now to get ready to feed almost 2,000 families during the Thanksgiving holiday. And we want you to join us on that. You go to our website, go to the number 2, Bethany.com. And we're going to talk about, we're going to help raise money to feed as many people as possible during this time. So we got some great topics today. We are going to talk about the deficit, and it's interesting how my fellow conservatives have such an issue with Obama, with running up the debt, the deficit, but for some reason it topped $1 trillion in 11 months, and it's very quiet from the fiscal conservatives. I just got a problem with that. We're going to talk a little about J.P. Morgan Chase. They created an index for the stock market because whenever Trump tweets, it affects the stock market. So they're trying to prepare investors on what to do when he tweets. So that's going to be an interesting dynamic. We'll talk about John Bolton got fired. Of course, talk about the Democratic debate, some other things. Vaping. It's crazy how, vaping, the other form of smoking, to help people with smoking, vaping has killed 6 people. Now, here's my dilemma with this, right? The president and a few other people want to discontinue vaping.
He changed his mind already.
He may change his mind already?
He's already changed his mind.
He changed his mind already? Okay. Well, they wanted to make it illegal because 6 people died. But yet they don't want gun control.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that's where you were going.
I'm not saying eliminate guns. I'm not saying that at all.
Gun control.
But control. So masses of people die from that every year. Even if a car, what was the old car back in the day that kept messing up? Was it Pinto or something? The Pintos, yes. And they made some adjustments to it. Somebody help me. You had a Pinto?
I did.
You did? Well, praise the Lord, you're alive. The hand of the Lord was on you.
No, I never got hit from the back.
It was on her back then, the hand of the Lord.
Right. It just.
Didn't even know it.
I mean, back in the day, back in the 50s and 40s, when cars really were becoming mainstream, they didn't have seat belts for kids in the back. But guess what they did? They made the adjustment. Hey, bitch, they made the adjustment. So and they didn't say, well, bad people in cars kill people. They just made, and I mean, they just made the adjustment to help make them more safe. You got to have a license to drive a car. So I kind of bring up the vaping thing.
Yeah, man.
So you want to eliminate the vaping, but you don't want to bring any measures into the gun control
It
conversation.
doesn't make any sense.
I'm confused.
You're concerned about 6 people, but you're not concerned about thousands.
I'm flabbergasted.
It's that aggravating symbolic mindset
Yep.
of America.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do anything about conflicts. Just tie a couple ribbons around some oak trees
Yep.
and everything.
Yeah.
We like symbolizing
Mm-hmm.
stuff.
Yep.
It's just so. I saw the vaping thing. Number one.
Mhm.
Now this may be a naive question. Who owns the vaping companies?
I don't have to look that up and see.
People with money?
I would not be surprised if there was cigarette money behind it.
Oh yeah. Well, and that's why this vape. You're basically trading one poison for another.
Right.
It's
They got another way.
Mhm.
There's nicotine in them.
yeah.
They're flavored,
Mhm.
which they used to have back in the day, menthols and all that kind of stuff, cigarettes. So I'm like, okay, FDA allowed this to come through,
Mm-hmm.
knowing they were addictive,
Mm-hmm.
knowing there could be problems. So there's got to be some big money behind it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's like, yeah, you're right. They created an alternative.
Yep.
They probably did it like in the created one of them shell companies,
Mhm.
and the Marlboro somebody probably owns them, so
Yep.
they're gonna make money either way.
Yep. So it's another cigarette.
Mm-hmm.
Because and here we go. Signs again, wonders.
Mhm.
They call it vaping. Now it looks like smoking to me,
Yeah.
but they give it a different name,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and then it's acceptable.
Yeah. Yeah. It was the e-cigarette first, and then it was supposed to,
Smokeless cigarette first.
yeah.
Yeah.
and then with the
That wasn't making enough money.
no, and from what I understand,
Only things that kill you make money.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
and from what I understand, the kids at colleges are changing these e-cigarettes into tools to get high off of, and
They're putting dope in them?
they're putting stuff in them, and they're like kind of reconstructing how the tool is.
Is that what exploded?
Well, I don't know that part, but
Leave
they're
it to
making
mankind.
adjustments to,
Leave it to man.
and they're wondering why all these things are going on. It's
They just made up for the lack of cigarette sales.
Mm-hmm.
And mostly young people are vaping, right?
yeah,
Very young.
yeah.
Which mean very young.
Middle school.
You mean you can go
That's the
into a
problem.
you can go to a
These
corner
are
store and buy
children
them?
who died. These are under 18. I think only one was like an adult.
Okay.
That's the
So you can
problem.
go into like a corner store and get these?
You can't. But people are buying, but they're.
Where do you get them from?
Oh well,
You can
they
go
probably
buy
got some
them,
adult to
but-
buy them.
But kids are supposed to be able to buy them, but they're getting them because they're flavored and they're appealing to children.
Either they're getting them online,
Their
or
parents
some
are buying
adult
them because
is buying
they
them.
think it's safer.
yeah.
So we're in an outrage over vaping,
Mm-hmm.
but we're okay with mass shooting.
Yeah. Well, they're gonna say, well, vaping is not constitutional, but guns are. That-
Your example when I came in about the seatbelts.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was grown enough in that era.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't really ask anybody anything.
Mm-mm.
You want to drive,
Yeah.
you have to buckle those guys in the back seat up.
We sat in the front seat.
You got to put on a seatbelt.
Yeah.
You want to drive, you got to do this.
Mhm. I know.
I didn't see anybody in the street protesting
Yeah.
their right to go through a windshield. I didn't see that.
Right. I know.
I didn't see it.
Look, I remember we took a long trip. My
And
grandparents.
I don't want to hear that slippery
Okay,
slope
sorry.
nonsense
Yeah.
anymore. I don't want to hear that. They used to aggravate the heck out of me
Uh,
and some of the boards I'm in, which
Okay.
gives you the impression you can't make a decision, put limitations on that decision,
Mhm.
and it means you automatically make another one
yeah.
that's going to be detrimental. You make one that's beneficial. You don't have sense enough not to make another one that's detrimental. Oh, you're nice, a slippery slope. So that's the excuse to do nothing.
Yeah. It is.
What
Yeah.
we need to do is get these guns off the street that
Right.
aren't supposed to be there.
Yeah. Just they didn't eliminate cars. Just let's regulate it. What?
It makes too much sense.
But again, you're affecting somebody's money too.
And why do I want someone that's mentally unstable with a gun? And why should you be able to buy something that has a 60-round clip from somebody in a house somewhere?
Yeah. And
make all that nonsense illegal.
Yeah, because I think it was the El Paso shooter got his gun from a private person. Yeah. Couldn't get it from somewhere else.
Right.
So it's
it just seems like common sense law to me.
Yeah. But
I mean, does the guy next door need a AR, whatever they are now?
AR-15. Yeah.
AR-15.
Yeah. Did you see? Now here's our crazy. So Beto at the Democratic debate.
Yes, he went a little over the top too.
Well, he's very passionate.
Yeah. That's why he curses and stuff.
Yeah,
he loves the F word.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah,
a lot. And he made t-shirts about him too. They got t-shirts that.
I saw it.
But he referenced AR-15s.
Yeah.
That yes, we're going to take them away. So it was a Texas congressman.
I heard.
You saw this guy's in politics. Saying if you come for me, wait.
I'm going to shoot you, basically.
He's a politician saying this.
Trying to get elected.
Because that base will
rally around that insanity. And I'm all for owning guns responsibly.
Absolutely.
But they've got every logic, every major excuse in the world. Well, if you legislate guns, only criminals will have them. No.
Right.
Is that saying that folk that are legal can't go get them?
Yeah. And they keep using the argument of, well, you have the most gun violence in inner city, like, in states where guns are illegal, like New Jersey, New York, etc.
Yes.
But they're not understanding, first off, you have a bigger metropolis in New York City, in Philadelphia, in Chicago, than you have in little small rural counties of Kansas, Kentucky.
True.
So everything's more condensed.
Yes.
And then so the poverty in the hood versus the poverty in the rural country. If your house is 100 yards away, you're not going to have the same dynamics of living right next to somebody in a row home.
Well, here's the other thing. How do illegal drugs get into an inner city? The same way illegal guns get into.
There you go.
They're buying them from somewhere.
Yep. And they're bringing them in.
Somebody's being paid to look the other way. They can't get there on their own. I knew a guy. He got in a lot of trouble, and he was selling guns to local gangs. He was going to Virginia, buying the guns because he was from there.
Yeah.
Buy the guns there, come back, go down where the guys are, open his trunk, and sell guns to the gang leaders. And his logic was that guns don't do anything bad.
Yeah. Well, he's doing something. He bad.
People do.
Yeah.
That was his logic. That's what he told himself so he could make this money.
Yeah.
I can see his face right now. I wish I could call his name.
Yeah. No, don't do that. Yeah, you can't do that.
It was disgraceful.
Yeah, and these guys in the hood don't have planes to go to Colombia.
No,
They're
don't.
not going to Mexico.
They don't.
Somebody's bringing this stuff in here.
They're not bribing people at customs.
Right.
They don't have 747s landing in whatever airport around the country.
To bring stuff in.
Come on, man. They don't have that kind of money.
Not at all. They kind of clout nothing.
I'm just... that's why they call it organized crime.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Let's see. Phil's online. Hey, Phil.
Hey, good morning, Bishop.
Welcome to On Point.
Thank you. I am so glad to be on the program.
Everybody was so impressed with your bridge yesterday.
Yes.
Yesterday.
Yes, at the funeral. They, the bridge is on.
They
were.
I was at the funeral.
Yeah,
Yes,
I know you're like I know you're like Picasso. You've painted so many portraits, you just forget all the great things you've done.
Right.
But we still notice.
I was halfway expecting the singers to actually stand on the
Yeah, I thought I was waiting for them to go up there too. They were everywhere else.
Yeah. Oh, that was a fantastic funeral.
Yeah.
I was surprised they had a really nice send-off.
It was a good time.
They had a little red carpet when she came off the hearse, and then they had a horse-drawn buggy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
Real unique.
Yeah.
So what's your call? What's your point this morning, man?
My comment is, if everyone doesn't like the fact that President Obama did these things, put these things in place, and they have to do with key put into place. They don't like the fact that, let's say with health care, that I've got to pay for health care for those people who are non-traditional Americans. I'll put it that way. So here's the thing I like to say. You're paying taxes. Your neighbor who's a non-traditional American, house burns down. The fire department comes out to put out that fire. Your taxes are paying to help out your non-traditional neighbor.
Absolutely.
So what's the difference?
There is none.
Yeah, I don't understand. They said they don't want health care for those people who are non-traditional. Okay, then your taxes, so you should just pay your service for someone to put out the fire at your house, and then they're on their own.
You know what has always aggravated me? Some of the proponents of these points of views will say that those kinds of responsibilities need to be the state's responsibility. But the mechanism works like this. What the states can't afford to do, they go to the government to get. So the state has really only two choices. Provide for its citizens or not provide for them.
Yep.
So you decide, well, we've got to have fire companies, we've got to have police, we've got to have all this good stuff that our taxes are paying for. Just leave it up to the state. State said we can't afford it. Government ends up paying for it. And how does that get paid for? With our taxes.
Money. Yep.
Right.
I don't know why. I guess, you know what it is? I guess when you find out who's spending what in your house, then you get offended.
Yeah.
Even though you're writing the same check every month.
Right.
When you get it itemized, you get offended by who's getting what or why are you spending this. But I mean, we're talking about basic things. I don't think there should be homeless people in this country. I don't think any child should go to bed without food. There's just some basic things that the richest country in the world should be providing that other countries that are quote unquote less wealthy than us are doing, and the citizens understand it.
Yep.
I guess it all goes down to this freedom thing. But I want to go out to
freedom for who?
Right.
Yeah. But this other comment you made about the pastor that talked about driving and so forth, you have to wear a seatbelt. So I brought up that same thing years ago. Says, well, listen, people should be registered, they should have license and so forth for a gun. You have to have a car. People said, well, I have a right to own a gun. I keep saying, you need transportation in this country, a car, but the car is considered a privilege, not a right. That's the reason why they could do all these things, take the car away from you. It's easier to take your car from you than it is your gun.
But the founding fathers didn't have no concept of a car.
Right.
So it's like it's kind of hard to
take my horse.
Yeah, right. I mean, you're talking about a document that's over 200 years old. It's like,
yes, but that's where people are losing their focus. It says the Constitution says I have this right to this, but the cars is that's perfect. I don't need the right to the car, but I have to have my gun.
When did the Republicans abandon the Constitution? At what point did they do that? Because I thought they were the constitutionalists.
They're supposed to be.
All right, and when did they abandon fiscal responsibility? Because I understand that the deficit is at $1 trillion now.
In 11 months, yep. Yeah.
When did they lose their way?
Well, they only lose their way when they're not in charge.
So when they're in charge, they do run the deficit up every time they're in charge.
Every time they're in charge, yep. Every time.
And all of a sudden, the Constitution is not real. It's a living document which can be interpreted the way I need to interpret it.
At the moment, yeah.
When they're in office.
Yeah.
But when they're out of office, they're strict constitutionalists.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is getting on my nerves.
They're pure hermeneutics when they're not in charge, and they eisegete the text.
You got that right.
Yeah.
They're very revelatory.
Right.
When they're in office, yeah. Types and shadows.
Right.
Yeah. I'm trying to tell you something. I'm just so frustrated with this politics.
Yeah, it's annoying.
So let's talk about the debate. What did you think?
I didn't watch it.
Pastor Nick.
Honestly, Bishop, this is my honest opinion.
We are radio hosts. We're broadcast executives.
Yes. I watched clips.
And you didn't watch it either?
I watched clips. I'm about to say, I know you did not. We were both here Thursday night.
You didn't watch it either? Oh, my goodness.
And the football game was on, so I was like, football.
The broadcast irresponsibility is overwhelming in this room.
Honestly, Bishop.
No, I watched it. I was surprised that you guys didn't, because I usually don't watch the debate. But I watched it last night just to see what was going on.
Did you watch it? All right, what was your interpretation?
My interpretation was that at times they tried to stay focused, but there are times they lost me when they started doing the bickering back and forth. I did like when Cory Booker said, you know, if we keep fighting like this, then Trump will be a two-term president. He said it differently, but the thing is that they need to focus on what my plan is going to do instead of saying, well, Joe Biden, you lied, you did this, and especially that guy who pointed out. I listened. I heard what Joe Biden said, and the guy twisted it just a little bit, to make it seem like Joe Biden lied, and he didn't.
Yeah, it's a nasty game. I had a politician explain to me that we look at it as something to do. They look at it as a blood sport. It's life and death to them. It's like gladiators in the arena to them.
The debates?
It's politics.
Politics, yeah.
It's life and death. It's a blood sport. That's why they do whatever they can do to kill your reputation and everything. The system is not working well, and I don't think, as you referred to them, the founding fathers could have anticipated this. I don't think they could have.
No,
because the context in which the politicians are functioning in is so different. That it's just fundamentally different. So they wrote a document that fit the time they were in.
Yeah. And I think it's that slippery slope. This is the slippery slope they're talking about, because it didn't start out that way, but it's ended up this way.
Yeah, but the problem is the right decisions weren't made in a timely manner along the line of history to keep the document current. And it's still only good when I can use it against my adversary. It's not good for everybody. Everybody's supposed to be equal under the law.
Yep.
Like, for instance, do you think you'd go to jail for 14 days if you had bribed some college officials? And would you have a 14-day sentence?
No.
And would it be like in a nice place, or would it, would you be in a county jail where, we wouldn't know you were there until we went there to preach and stuff?
Yeah. And she probably gonna come out with a book
everyone
deal.
Else who's bribed an official, how much time they spent on average, and I guarantee you, you put a zero behind that. That 14 days is 140 days or more.
Absolutely. Thanks, Phil.
You're welcome, Bishop. Have
Talk
a good
to
day.
you. You too. 1-866-743-8267. 1-866-743-8267. This is On Point, the #1 Saturday morning Christian-based call-in talk show.
So I looked at
America.
the vaping thing.
Yes.
So the vaping thing came from a company, I think, in China or somewhere. And small companies start doing it.
Okay.
A couple years ago, Big Tobacco started buying a lot of those businesses.
I knew it.
So like Philip Morris and all them, they own the vaping companies, or most of the big ones. They own most of the big ones.
They got the kids back on the cigarettes.
Yep. It's just another way to get them.
And they changed the name of it. Made it look like it wasn't smoking real. It really was.
Yeah.
Put the nicotine in it so it would be addictive. But just made it sweet apple pie and cotton candy and all that kind of stuff.
All that craziness still in there.
Wow.
The carcinogens, whatever they call it.
Yeah, carcinogens, they're still there. All that stuff's still there. So you got kids getting sick, and they're actually getting addicted to the vape.
Yeah.
So right now, our president, my president, you guys don't claim him at all. My president has decided to do something about that.
He changed his
But she said he changed his mind.
already.
He changed his mind already?
Yes.
What was this, yesterday?
Yeah, he sent out a tweet, I think, last night.
Because it was another. How do you say I'm worried about your kids vaping, or getting sick from vaping, but I'm not worried enough to do something about guns coming to your school and shooting them all?
Yeah.
It's just stupid.
It is stupid. I mean, you shouldn't have to have.
So did Melania have to tell him, our son's being affected by this, and because she wanted him outlawed, right?
Yeah. Well, that's what she said.
I think it was all theater.
Yeah. Oh, of course. Of course. So
let's talk to Robin. Robin.
Good morning, Bishop.
How
Good
you
morning,
doing?
Pastor. I'm good. Good morning, Pastor Nick and his
Hi.
staff. And good
You
morning
gon-
to everybody
you-
on Facebook.
You gonna have one of your brief comments in less than 15 minutes?
See, I was going to behave this morning. No, I just have a quick comment.
We love you, Robin. We love you.
I know, and I love y'all so much. I love my Bethany church family.
I
just
understand,
love
girl.
y'all.
Me too.
Yes, we got the best church. But I didn't watch the debate neither.
No?
I had my own debate yesterday.
Oh boy.
Let me just tell you something quick, and I'm going to get off. But
When she says that, we're in trouble.
To make a long story short, it's never short.
But I picked up a passenger Uber yesterday up at Darby. So before I got him, I saw a black guy pulled over 4 cop cars. This guy, I can just look at him and tell he was scared. He was holding both his hands on the steering wheel. So when I picked up a guy and I asked him, how is this neighborhood? Is it, racial profile? And he said, no, I've been here 3 months. He's from Nigeria. He was living in Oakland, California. I said, it's a lot of that going on. A lot of our black men, scared, nervous when they get pulled over. So he goes in and says, well, I can't judge because the cops are so good, they're doing their job. He had to do something, wrong for them to pull over and all the cop cars. And then he started talking about, we got into talking about President Trump. Everything they saying about him is a lie. And I like what he's saying. And, it really got into it. It was a nice debate. I didn't get heated. He didn't get heated. But just listening to him, he don't believe anything on the news. He says the blacks need to be home studying. They always have handouts. I almost start getting upset because you may have not been racial profile, but if you've be here long enough, you'll start seeing it. But for him to say he didn't, he don't believe anything on the news about, these young ones getting killed for no reason. I'm like, have you been living under a rock? That's what I'm saying to myself. But it's funny because after he got out, I dropped him off. He had to text me. He left his lunch in my car.
Okay.
I said, see, after you had that debate with me, then you leave your lunch. And I wasn't going back to Darby from Philly. I told him you have to wait until the day. So
You taking his lunch back today?
To hear people of color, not believing what's going on.
You should have had a Nigerian lunch yesterday.
But it's just sad. And
He's making those statements, Robin, from a comparative perspective. He's thinking about perhaps what he has moved away from, and the overall sense or idea of democracy and freedom. He's only been here 3 months. He's not yet had to encounter the things that his skin color will cause him to encounter. I'm old enough to remember both times, and I have never been more cautious driving at any time in my life other than I am right now, just simply because I'm an African American male, and if I do anything in the city, I drive too slowly. But the reality is, I'm very cautious. I've thought myself through getting pulled over. What am I going to do?
In Oakland, California, where the gangs and stuff are. It's just for him to say you can't believe what the news says, And then we was talking about how the people from Bahamas.
He's comparing corruptions.
Yeah. But it was just some of the things I was like, I can't believe he was saying. Did y'all hear what Trump tweeted? I mean, what he said? Well, President Trump.
He tweets so much.
Right.
That he forgot he had a son with his wife.
No, he didn't.
It wasn't a tweet.
Yes,
it was
he did.
It wasn't a tweet.
He forgot.
He was on video.
Come on.
Talking about something.
Video.
And he said Melania's son or her son. She has a son, something like that. But
he said it like that.
As though it was their child. He said she has a son and she's passionate about this.
Yeah. So I mean,
not we have one.
No. Nope.
Well, but
I mean,
parents do that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Parents do that.
Your child.
That's
you
your child.
Talk to him. You can talk to him.
When they in trouble, it's your child. It's your baby.
But now they say he's Alzheimer's. But
him.
So, but I'm gonna go
him.
something that Tamara said yesterday.
All right, you all over in Tamara's business.
Right.
I'm gonna end on this note. I have a turtle, right? Well, I turtle for her because she wanted the turtle.
Okay.
But I'm the one taking care of it. I talked to her. Her name is Luna.
You talk to the turtle?
Yes. I don't have nobody else to talk to.
Lord have mercy.
I'm not losing it, Bishop.
No, you lost it.
But I'll be
Sound
like
like an
holding my
OJ song
hand
to
and
me.
talking.
No, Harold
Tamara
Melvin and the Blue
said,
Notes.
I said, Tamara, she listens to me too. Mom, you are not Adam.
Sorry,
I'm
I
like,
lost
Tamara, no, you did not say that.
I mean, we may walk up to the fish and say, "Hey, y'all, come eat." It's not like a full conversation with the fish. Like
you having a full conversation with the turtle?
I do, but she puts her head up and she's still and she listens.
Okay, I'm getting ready to ask you, has the turtle said anything back in return?
No, Bishop.
See you tomorrow, girl.
All right, y'all have a blessed
Bye
day.
bye.
I see you.
1-866-743-8267, 1-866-743-8267. So now something's wrong with being a vegetarian?
You know what they found was
I knew it was coming.
that, like anything, when you stop eating one thing, you deprive yourself of nutrients.
Absolutely.
Over here, so I think was it vitamin B1
all
and
that.
something else
All that.
you would get from meat, you're not getting anymore.
So you look better.
But your insides are
Something's
all jacked
wrong,
up.
yeah.
Because you
need
not
some stuff.
balancing this thing out.
Here's what I think. Why can't we be proponents of certain lifestyles without condemning someone else's?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, it just seems so simple to me. You want to be a vegetarian? Fine.
Yep.
All of us don't have to be vegetarians.
Absolutely. Yep.
You want to be somebody that doesn't eat any dairy? Okay. But don't condemn me because I do.
Yeah.
Because I feel like this. So you hate fur coats, somebody else loves fur coats.
Yeah.
So the whole world will have a ban on fur coats.
Right.
You know, it just doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense at all. It doesn't. And sometimes vegans can be, not all of them, can be the worst with them sometimes.
Oh my God.
Because, you know, everything's got to be pure. And I try to eat healthy as much as I can, but they're over the top with it. Just.
And I wonder what their cheap food is.
Oh, yeah.
So they got it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And then what they're finding out
You're
now.
vegan, but you drink liquor. So,
Right.
So what?
Yep.
What?
Mm-hmm.
You smoke, but you're vegan.
Mm-hmm. And vegans are getting sick like, you feel good in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
You lose a lot of weight.
Mm-hmm.
But you find out vegans are getting stomach cancer.
Why?
Because all that soy and all that stuff that they're
So
putting in
it's not
those
good for
vegan
you.
foods are not good for you long term.
Nope.
Anything in abundance for you is not good. Got to balance it out.
Got to balance out. All things in moderation.
There you
Bible's
go.
right.
That's right.
Let's talk to Joyce. Good morning, Joyce. Welcome to On Point. Joyce. Joyce.
No, that's the wrong. I hear you.
Joyce. See, we can't get something going on here. Joyce seems to be jammed. Joyce, I need you to call back. I can't get you. Wait a minute, there she goes. Joyce? Joyce from Sicklerville. Okay. Kevin, Glassboro, how are you?
I'm good. How you living, Bishop?
Doing good, man. Welcome to On Point. What's your comment today?
Just a quick question. So when it comes to the presidential debate, I didn't watch it last night, mainly because it's hard to get into it because I don't have time for like the bickering and the back and forth. I feel like I don't get a lot of information out of it. Even when it comes to the news, like it's hard for me to watch it only because it's a lot of foolishness going on, and I don't get a lot of information out of it. So how do you find that balance of, trying to stay up to date and knowing, like what's going on and, not dealing with the foolishness?
I think it's difficult. I don't know why the debates are so popular other than the fact that we've become almost like this reality TV type of country. And they like to see what they call takedowns on television. But when they start bickering, I lose interest because I want to know, okay, what are you going to do if you get elected to be president? And if you're going to spend all your time, like my present president, criticizing your predecessor instead of doing something that's going to benefit us, to me, that's a waste of time.
Yeah.
So what I've had to do, I've had to make sure that I am reading print media, watching broadcast news, and getting a little sprinkling of internet information to try to have a as rounded a plate, a palette of information. But the thing I always do is listen with discernment. I'm not only listening to what's being said to me, I'm asking myself, okay, why did they say that? What's the context? I kind of look at news like I look at the Bible, in the sense that when you read an epistle, you're reading a response.
Yep.
And you can pretty much tell what the question was by the response that's in your Bible.
Yep.
So when Paul says, now I would not have you ignorant, obviously he's gotten some communication that has convinced him that there's some things they don't know.
Yeah.
So that's, I listen to it kind of discerning.
Okay. Yeah, because I try to find the balance as well. Like when it comes, when it comes to watching the news, try to figure out like the context of as far as what it is that they're speaking about. Because last night on CNN on the Como show, there was an Asian lady, and she was speaking against socialism, and she was saying like how it's bad, but she was an extremist as she was commenting, and it's like like that's not accurate of what you're saying when it comes to socialism, because when it comes to capitalism and everything like that, just like how you said last week, someone is going to what's the word I'm looking for, Bishop? Somebody's going to face the like somebody's going to have the lesser of I can't think of the word, but somebody's going to, like when it comes to poor people, they're going to suffer from capitalism, because capitalism
it's a necessary part of capitalism.
Yes.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, I think my dilemma is that everything that helps people is now called socialism.
Yep. They're trying to label it that to demonize it.
So what Truman and Roosevelt and all those guys tried to do to help folk is now considered socialism. It's ridiculous.
The stuff that Trump supporters are benefiting from.
Absolutely. And also gives an excuse. You call it something, quote unquote, evil, which gives you an excuse not to help folk. But the folk is still suffering. But you say, this is the land of the free, the home of the brave, equal opportunity, all that good stuff where we're supposed to care. But right now it looks like we've lost our heart.
Yep.
Yeah, just socialism has a bad connotation to it right now.
Yeah, but maybe some parts of socialism does, but helping people can never be biblically wrong.
Yep.
I agree.
But of course I don't know what happened to the Republican Party and their relationship with God. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened.
I can understand. I was thinking about this. So you're seeing it more. I can understand. We joke about it, how the fundamentalists, the Calvinists, the reformers thing. Yes. I can see why people are so upset with them.
Yes.
Because a lot of this is that fundamentalist, this view of God that is not the God of Scripture.
No.
And it's
the God of convenient mindset.
Yeah, it takes the heart away from people. It's really like Robert Jeffries.
Yeah.
Again, saying some crazy stuff on there. Just
no heart.
It's
when did Christ lose his heart?
Right. Their view of heart, like Bishop Maldonado said, it's just to get you saved and get you to heaven.
That's not all. That wasn't a total ministry of
that's
Jesus.
Right. Yep. Not at all.
Such as you have done to the least of these, you've done unto me.
Yep.
What happened to that? Did you feed me when I was hungry? Did you give me something to drink when I was thirsty? Did you come and see me when I was in prison? When I was sick, did you come take care of me?
Yep.
All of that stuff Jesus says.
Yep.
Yeah.
Kevin, how's the baby?
I actually just put her to sleep on my shoulder, so one hand on the phone and the other hand,
there you go.
Yeah, Doc. Do it up, man.
Yeah.
Tell sis I said, hey, man.
I will. And Pastor Nick, this is one of my favorite channels too. So cross that off the list.
Which one? Calling in the show?
Yep.
Oh, good. We got to talk about that one time.
Yeah, good to hear you, man.
Good.
Talk to you soon.
Have a good
one. Right.
Bye-bye. Now let's try Joyce. Joyce?
Good morning, Bishop.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine.
We got you this time.
Okay. So I heard Pastor Nick and you say you didn't watch the debate.
Absolutely.
However, I watched all 3 debates.
Did you?
I'm a little bit obsessed with this stuff.
I don't know how you survived all 3.
And I'm just going to say this, and I know that a lot of people won't agree with me, but if the Democrats don't stop walking around like they're in the series of Walking Dead. Trump is going to be a two-term president.
Yeah.
The man has nothing of substance to say at any of his rallies at all.
I know.
I'm surprised that Booker is not higher. His poll numbers aren't higher than what they are because he's really the only candidate that is promoting unity.
Okay.
Whether
That's not what it's both. They don't want to hear that in America now.
What,
that's
unity?
not going to be a
Both sides don't either.
It's just not going to happen.
The unity lesson is drivel.
Okay.
Another thought came through my head. It's
okay.
It seems to me now, could be wrong,
okay,
that particular groups of people, they want you to side with them. And if you don't side with them, I don't support you.
You're not American.
Yeah. And that's on both sides of the party. Liberal and conservative.
The American people have become undefined.
Yeah, there you go.
It is now defined by if you support me, you're the American people. If you don't, you're not.
You're not.
Okay.
And plain and simple.
And because of that, Trump will win the second term.
Oh, yeah.
There's not going to be a female president.
She said they walking around like the Walking Dead.
I'm sorry to make that announcement. But it's not
It
gonna
was
happen.
beautiful.
Yeah.
We need to find our strongest candidate and rally behind that.
Who do you think that is out of all of them right now? Taking you too long.
I know there's not going to be a female president. I'm going to say Biden and Booker.
Together?
Yes.
Do you
Stop focusing on Biden's gas, okay?
do you think that they would do good president, vice president?
Yes, I absolutely do.
Do you think their egos would allow that?
Well, because Booker said if he won the nomination, he wanted a female on his ticket. I think that's great, but that's not going to happen. But if you truly believe in what you want us, the people, to believe in, then you have to set your ego aside.
Now you know if Mrs. Clinton and President Barack had been able to arrest their egos, and Mrs. Clinton had been the vice president, Trump would have never become a problem. You know that, right?
Bishop, I hear what you're saying. However, I believe that even if Secretary Clinton and President Obama were able to set their differences aside, it wasn't going to work because too many people hate the Clintons. They hate her husband.
You know what they loving on her now though.
They loving on Barack too.
I think they are.
So many African Americans said, "Oh, well, Barack didn't do anything for us." Excuse me, exactly what did you want him to do? Because those Republicans, Mitch McConnell clan, they got together the night of his inauguration and said anything that comes across our desk from that man is going in the trash. We're not looking at it.
Look, I saw it on national TV.
Exactly what did you want us to do? He brought dignity and respect.
You're making too much sense.
His rating right now is so high. That's why Trump is always riding on him.
He's jealous of him.
He hates him.
Yeah, he's jealous of him.
Yes.
He'll never be as smart as Barack Obama. Never.
Not on his dumbest day, which is most every day.
I hear you, girl.
That's all, Bishop. Love you guys.
Talk to you. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Let's go to Debbie. Hi, Deb.
Hi, how are you?
Fine. Welcome to On Point.
Yes, I have 2 points that I wanted to make.
Please do.
I'm going to be brief. I'm going to a little bit about the vegan diet and about the debate because I saw the debate.
Now, you're a physician, right?
Yes, I'm a physician, and for the last 2 years, there's an international conference that's held in Washington, D.C. I went to the conference. Last year, I started the vegan diet, and actually another term, because vegan has a lot of negative connotations. Like, I like fur. I'm sorry. But,
you a hypocrite, vegan. No, I'm playing. I'm playing.
And I had fur. So let me be honest about it.
Okay.
And I'm going to continue to like fur. But the correct or more scientific, if you break down what vegan really means, because it does have, as Pastor Nick mentioned, a lot of negative connotations, it's a low-fat, whole food, plant-based diet.
Okay.
When you think about the components of what the the diet is, you know, it makes sense. I actually tried it last year. Did not for long because I like chicken. I'm being honest.
Okay.
But
you don't have any feathers hanging up in your closet, do you?
Nope. I'm gonna tell you the first two things that I noticed within a week on this diet. My joints stopped hurting, like my knee, and my blood pressure came down. Went to the doctor before I went to the conference and after. My blood pressure went down 20 to 30 points.
Wow.
I couldn't believe it was my blood pressure. It was 105 over 70.
Wow.
This year, I went to the conference back in July, came back, and I've been more diligent with it, eating more fruits and vegetables. And I cheat with chicken. I'm going to be honest. That's my cheat food.
Okay.
You know, because every now and then, you know, eating, you know, vegetables and fruit, it gets boring. You have a desire, a taste for something else. But I'm working on it because my goal is to continue doing this.
Okay.
And my blood pressure, again, was the same thing that I noticed. So I think the research is there, the science behind what happens to the body, and really they talked about and focused about cancer and why a lot of people become diabetic is because meat is inflammatory and dairy products, which includes milk and cheese, which a lot of Americans like milk and cheese. Meat causes inflammation. And I noticed when I took meat out of my diet, my knees did hurt less. You know, I didn't have that pain. That was the first thing I noticed. So there is a lot of value in eating vegan or, again, the correct term, low-fat, whole food, plant-based diet.
Yeah.
And I think when the research just gets out there more and more, because, you know, meat is money. You know, you have a lot of restaurants that serve meat, and they don't want to hear anything about fruits and vegetables. They want to continue to serve their steak. But, you know, the reality of it is meat is costing the environment, you know, and it's also costing, you know, people their health.
Can you speak to the whole soy thing? Can you speak to the whole soy thing?
Yes, I will speak to soy. There's a lot of controversy over soy. They had a lecturer who showed all the evidence from around the world. There's a lot of controversy with soy. I particularly don't eat soy. Soy is estrogen-based, and I had a patient many years ago. He was 13 years old. His mom brought him to the doctor, and his voice was a little high-pitched, and he had breast buds. And I said, and he wasn't overweight. He was a skinny kid. I said, the first thing I said to her is, what are you feeding this kid? Well, we eat a lot of soy. I told her to cut it because they were eating it in excess. Now, you can eat soy, but I think it's one of those things you have to be careful with. There's a lot of controversy. They haven't settled if it was good or bad, just like how some years coffee's in favor because it has antioxidants, and in other years they're like coffee's bad. So the jury is still out on soy. I don't eat it because it's just by choice. I substitute and I drink almond milk. You know, there are different things that you can do until they settle that whole controversy.
Okay.
So
can I ask you a
and
question?
I wanted to make, go ahead.
About the food thing. Do you think also how our food is processed? Like back in the day when you would go out and kill your own food and eat it, you didn't have all these same issues. Because a lot of the soy, GMO, a lot of the meat now has been all those antibiotics and all that stuff pumped up in there. Do you think that's one of the biggest cause of inflammation too versus me going out and killing a live chicken and cooking it?
It's probably both, honestly. I mean, I could say my parents are from Guyana. They're Guyanese, or Guyana's in South America. A lot of people think it's in Africa. It's not Ghana. And when my family emigrated to this country, I visited Guyana many, many years ago, and I watched them kill the chickens, and you're right, there's no hormones. My cousins were thin. They were in good health. When they came to the U.S. and started eating the chickens here, the hormones, they started gaining weight.
Yep.
They started getting cancer. Like,
wow.
I mean, it's a fact. You know, hormones and antibiotics are in the chicken.
Yeah.
And I, you know, it's probably a combination of that, and I don't know exactly why meat, other than the science behind what happens to meat. It's really the fat in the meat, and I understand what you're saying, Pastor Nick, because the vegan diet focuses on that low fat and all that animal fat, what it does to the body. We can't process it. And it causes the fat in the meat to go into your liver and your muscles, and that's the basis of what happens and why your insulin doesn't work in your body, and why people develop diabetes, because it's sort of like you're plugging up the system is the best analogy I can think of. The animal fat, your body can't process it. That fat goes into the liver, it goes into the muscle. Your body's trying to metabolize it on a cellular level, and it can't handle it. And then your insulin, as a result, stops working, and that's one of the mechanisms on how people develop diabetes.
Wow.
Jeez.
That was real good, Dan.
Yeah, it was. That was cool.
That was real cool.
Thank you.
My healthy doctor.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
My healthy doctor is saying that a lot of the food we eat over here is illegal to eat in Europe. If we all moved to Europe and ate their food over there, you notice they eat a lot of pasta, a lot of meat, and they're a whole lot healthier than we are over here.
You just used a term that I use.
What?
Healthy doctor.
That's true. That's true.
So I'm kind of implying my other one is not a healthy doctor.
My pharmaceutical, I
got a doctor that's helping me, one that's killing me. Is that what you're saying? Physicians are now delineated by healthy or not. Holistic.
There you go. Let's use holistic. I'm sorry.
But still the same thing. We say healthy. What am I saying about my other doctors?
You know what it is, Bishop? Some doctors don't buy into this low fat, plant-based whole food way of living.
Yeah.
I personally, one of my goals as a Christian, and I've, been working, on eating better, looking better, is to live long. My goal, I've always wanted to live to be at least 100. I think it's awesome when we could live, our bodies are designed biblically, going back to the Bible days, to live at least up to 120, and a lot of us don't make it.
Yeah.
One of the things I learned at this conference, there are 5 countries in the world where you have centillions, where people live over 100, and when you look at their diet, it's this diet, the low-fat, whole food, plant-based diet. And when they eat meat, it's on occasion. It's some major celebration.
Okay.
And it's, it's a fact.
Now, what did you think about the debate? Be quick.
All right, real quick. It was boring. I'm gonna be honest.
Okay.
There was no one had a defining moment except what Julian Castro, which no one liked what he did to Biden.
Okay.
I think this is my prediction for next year. I think Biden's probably still going to be the front runner, although I think, and I hope someone rises up. I think we should watch Elizabeth Warren because she surpassed Bernie Sanders. And what I learned actually was that she was a school teacher. And if she continues to remind people of who she is, she's not just an attorney, she's going to get that suburban white vote, and she also may get some black women. Like if she gets the nomination, I think she probably would have a better chance than Hillary Clinton had, because no one liked Hillary. A lot of people didn't like her. They didn't like the Clintons, and they didn't like what she represented. So Elizabeth Warren may have a chance if she gets the nomination. If not, I think they should put her on the VP ticket.
I think you just explained to me why she sounds like she sounds. She has that kind of teacher pragmatism, get to the point type of approach. And that explains a lot to me. She doesn't really talk like an attorney.
She didn't really practice, because she said what happened was she went to apply for a job when she was pregnant, and she didn't get the job. So she was unemployed and she had children, so she decided to go to law school. And she didn't practice for very long.
Wow.
So that's actually what happened.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks for it. Was a wonderful call. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Who we got? I got Danny on 1 that says Jonathan on 3, but I don't see anybody on 3. Hey, Dad.
Good morning, Bishop. How you doing? Good morning, Pastor Nick, staff.
Morning.
I just have a quick comment. I know you're short on time.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to say that it was so hurting and discouraging as to the words that the president had said about the Bahamas and the labels that he put on the people and what have you. Because if you know
that again?
about the history of South Florida, you would know that they helped build, or the original settlers of South Florida and Florida, period, and building the railroads and things like that. So it's sad that he would go to that level to go and say something like that in order to render aid and help to them.
They were trying to bring some of the Bohemian refugee, people to after that.
Right.
And once they were on the boat, and once they got to America, they only let some come to America that have a visa or something else, and they sent everybody else somewhere else.
Where'd they send them?
I don't know where they sent them to. They sent them back.
Here's my problem. So if the hurricane comes through, 220-mile-per-hour winds, knocks down everything, you come out with nothing but the clothes on your back. Where do you go get your passport?
Exactly.
When you can't even find your shoes in your house.
Exactly.
And his whole thing was, again, going back to this rhetoric. The reason why we're not letting them in is because there are some thugs, some bad people that could come over. Like, going back to that again.
So the people of color are bad people?
Yeah. That there could be some in there. He always uses, not all of them, but some of them are in there, because some bad people flee the Bahamas and they could be coming back into the United States.
I never hear him talking race when we have a mass shooting. Nope. I don't hear him say it. My president is obviously
racist.
Yes. It's just ridiculous.
The sad part about it, Bishop, is that some of the islands are like 50 some odd miles away from us.
Yeah.
So and you have a lot of relatives that have settled and that have been in the United States for hundreds of years, about over 100 years or more since Florida has been settled.
Yeah.
The original pioneers. And for you to say something like that, the streets and things like that are named after them.
Wow. It's hard to find a way to support him. I see what his supporters do. They latch on to an economy that is not benefiting them.
Yep.
Sometimes I wonder if people that support my president are looking at the economy's better, even though it's not better for me. He's doing a good job because it's better. But if it's not better for you,
it's not better.
How's it better? I don't get it.
It's the hope that one day they'll get there.
We must be out of time.
Yep, we are, but.
Danny, tell sis I said, hey, man.
Thank you, Bishop. Great job on the sermons, too. You made it
Thank
plain.
you. We're trying to get there, man.
All right.
Talk to you. Well, this has been On Point with Pastor Nicholas Smith. I'm Bishop David G. Evans. Thank you for joining us once again on the #1 Saturday morning Christian-based call-in talk show in America. Won't you please send somebody a message, tweet, Facebook, inbox, something, let them know about On Point. We'd love to hear from you also. Now remember this, go to somebody's church tomorrow, give God the kind of glory he deserves, and remember, faith acts like a thing is so, even when it's not so, that it might be so. God bless you, and I'll see you real soon.